The Stars blow a 3-1 third period lead as the Hurricanes dominate special teams and storm back to a 6-4 win, snapping the Stars' three-game road win streak.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Well, everything was going to plan for the Dallas Stars in the first 40 minutes, and then boom, the Hurricanes turned the game upside down, a 5-goal third period, including 2 power play goals as they come from behind to take this one by a final score of 6-4. Special teams were abysmal for the Dallas Stars. A usually strong penalty kill that they can rely on was not that tonight, and the power play continues to leave much to be desired. We'll break this one down. We'll talk about the Duchene line because that's at least positive, but it was a missed opportunity for the Dallas Stars tonight to pick up a full 2 points. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. This was another one of these road losses that was so unavoidable for the Dallas Stars. So unavoidable. Too many bonehead mistakes by the Dallas Stars in the third period. A Mason Marchment high sticking penalty and the Wyatt Johnston high sticking penalty late did the Stars in tonight. And it wasn't the only reason the Stars lost, but those 2 high sticking penalties really came back to hurt the Dallas Stars. And yes, Marty Necas got a fortuitous bounce off the skate of Lyubushkin that beats Ottinger, a real lucky bounce, but you gave Carolina the opportunity to go on the man advantage. They're top 10 this season on the power play, and they made you pay not once, but twice. Gostisbehere earlier in the third period because the Stars could not stop hurting themselves. And the goal they gave up early in the third period, right after their power play had expired, was just so poor and lackadaisical. They just all of a sudden forgot how to play and gave Carolina all this time and space to make plays, and they just stopped playing. They stopped pushing. And I was ready to come on here and discuss how hard the Stars worked in the first 40 minutes, how hard and hungry they were on the puck, tracking down Hurricanes in their own zone. The forechecking pressure was fantastic. And then it just stopped. It evaporated, and credit to Carolina, but this was an unavoidable loss for the Stars, and it's a missed opportunity to pick up 2 points on the road against a good team. It's the first loss this season when the Stars have led after 2 periods. You cannot blow a 3-1 lead. I understand it's the Carolina Hurricanes. You have to finish that game off. And as I said, so unavoidable to allow the Hurricanes back into that game because Dallas stopped playing. They stopped putting their foot on the gas against the third string goaltender. We talked about Martin. He didn't have great numbers, and Dallas didn't muster up a ton of shots, only 19. They had 19 shots, and they scored 4 goals, which you have to win if you score 4 on the road, especially with Ottinger. And Otter could have made some saves here and there, but it's the special teams side of things that continue to rear its ugly head. You get 3 power plays on the road after you get up early. I mean, you score 18 seconds in off of a wonderful forecheck that leads to an opportunity. Sagan buries it. I mean, the Duchene line, again, just continues to be the Dallas Stars' best line. And the transition game for Dallas was really strong. They had a few odd man rushes. They were able to get behind Carolina's defense using their speed, their anticipation. And then it just seemed like they all went, okay, we have a 3-1 lead. Let's just kind of sit on it. And Carolina took it to them. And frankly, they deserve to win because of a fantastic third period. And look, your power play goes 0 for 3, and the Hurricanes' power play goes 2 for 2. There's your game right there. There's your game. Special teams again. And Steve Spott, we need an answer. We need an answer because it cost you the game tonight. It certainly cost you the game tonight. And the Johnston and Marchment penalties did not help out, but usually a pretty reliable penalty kill was not the case. They got caught chasing quite a bit. They were out of position. I mean, Carolina was just working it around. I mean, they were dominating Dallas for large stretches of that third period. They had the Stars hemmed in, sort of like Dallas had for moments in that second period. It was a chore for Carolina to get out of their own zone. And then the Hurricanes were just a different looking team in the third period, as you would expect against a very, very hard to play against Carolina team. We all know that. That's their MO. They may not win, but boy, are they going to outwork you. And maybe Dallas outworked them for more minutes in the game. But I mean, the third period, like a hockey game, 60 minutes, it's not 40. You can change a lot of things. You can change a lot of narratives. And Dallas did. And look, they punched back once after Carolina took the lead. A beautiful move from Heiskanen. I mean, Johnston won a faceoff dot against Stahl, and then Miro with a beautiful move. And then he was able to rip one up high on Martin to beat him to tie the game at 4. But then you take your penalty, and Carolina punches you right back. But yeah, you give up a shorthanded goal too. It's not that they even went 0 for 3 on the power play. They gave up a shorthanded goal. The other one was basically shorthanded because I don't know what was going on at the bench. I think it was Harley that was trying to change, or maybe Harley thought about changing, and then he got into play and just did not play that very well. The pass across to Aho for the goal at the beginning of the third period. And then, I mean, just Carolina poured it on. I mean, 6 shots in the first period for the Hurricanes. He had 13 and 15. They outshot Dallas 15-6 in that third period. And they get 5 goals, including the empty netter. But just another unavoidable road loss. It's completely unavoidable. And I thought Carolina was a good team. I don't know if they were the better team tonight. They were better in the third period, certainly. But to me, it says this game says a lot more about Dallas than it does Carolina. It says a lot more about Dallas. They really just found a way to lose tonight, and that is frustrating. And somebody even commented on my video from yesterday, said, I rarely get upset watching sports, but this game made me want to throw something. Amen. I completely agree with that statement. It's a poor special teams night. I mean, you allow a shorthanded goal, you give up 2 power play goals, and yeah, Carolina's a good team, but you were disciplined for the first 2 periods. And I mean, it was like 6 minutes and the lead was blown. A total of 10 minutes from Aho's second goal to Gostisbehere's power play goal that gave him a 4-3 lead. And then you're just asking a lot. And you're asking a lot on the road, down 1 with less than 10 to try to come back against, a team that's going to shut it down because they know how to close a game out. And the Hurricanes did. And yeah, I mean, Dallas punched back, which was a good sign, but that's just a missed opportunity for 2 points. And you get destroyed in the faceoff dots, 60-40, and they go 2 for 2 on the power play. You're 0 for 3 on man advantage. And again, it's a chance for Dallas to extend their lead, to add some insurance. 3-1 should be more than enough, but you chip in a power play goal at any point, it's 4-1. It's 5-1. It's a different story. You take teams out of it. Instead, you keep a team like Carolina that is just looking for any sort of blip in your game to convert and to make you pay. And they did tonight. And it was just the way it happened in the third period. They just allowed it. They just allowed it to happen. That's what's infuriating. Allowed Carolina to just push them around and hem them in. And there wasn't a whole lot of dictating play and push. After, the first 40, I was like, man, this is a fantastic game. I was like, okay, like this is shaping up to be one of the best games of the year. Like the way Dallas was just hunting the puck. The forecheck was fantastic, phenomenal. And it just evaporated. And again, hockey's a 60-minute game. It's not 40. It's not 45. It's not 50. You got to play a full 60. And Dallas got a taste of it tonight. I mean, 5 third period goals is, I mean, 4. Like, take the empty net out of it. Still 4. That's not going to get it done. A 3-1 lead has to be cleaned up. You're too good, right? Or at least we think you're too good. We think you're too good of a team, but that's a poor loss. It's a poor loss. And I know I want to be more positive on here. I've been saying that, but good night. Watching one like that is just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Because of the effort you put forth in the first 40, and you let it go. I mean, Aho has 4 points on the night. Jarvis, who entered, had 3. And again, the big boys had a wonderful night. The big boys for Carolina, and Johnston had an assist on Miro, but Rope had his chances, and yeah, I mean, it's not like the Stars lacked quality. They had plenty of looks. Yeah, you would have liked to have more, but you scored 4. That's got to be enough. Stars had 24 scoring chances, 24-28 against Hurricanes. They had 14 high danger, which was, more than Carolina. So it wasn't a lack of chances. But, I mean, you scored 4 goals on 19 shots. Like, that's pretty decent. I don't know how much more you need, really. And yeah, you would have loved to have one on the power play, of course. And that's sort of where the game lies. Like, that's the difference. They scored twice on the power play. Just unavoidable. It was unavoidable. And it's only on Dallas. Only the Stars have to answer for that. Yeah, and the Hurricanes were great in the third. Like, no doubt about it. But come on. You sort of laid back and let them take it. Okay, we'll switch to a more positive outlook, because the only line that deserves any praise, really, is this Matt Duchene line that continues to be amazing. We'll touch on some of the numbers they've put up in the last few weeks. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. You can take a look at the hockey board and select Jack Hughes for more than 4 shots on goal, Artemi Panarin more than 1 assist, John Tavares more than 9 faceoff wins. Those are the type of props you can do on PrizePicks. Download the app. It's free. It's available on Google Play Store and App Store. and download the app. You can use the code LOCKEDONNHL today to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And they have a free Thanksgiving Square. Tyreek Hill only needs to receive half a receiving yard for the projection to hit. If you're correct on at least one more snap projection, you can win real cash. So download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Matt Duchene cannot be stopped and continues to be the Dallas Stars' best player. And that line was great again tonight. They ended up with a total of 8 shots on goal. They ended up with 9 scoring chances, which was 6 more than any other line. I mean, 9 scoring chances from Duchene, Marchment, and Seguin. And they score on the first shift of the game, 18 seconds in, because of the work by Matt Duchene, because of the forechecking pressure, which you would like to see some other lines get involved in a bit too. And he hits Marchment, who went between the legs. He almost was able to work a shot off, but Seguin was right there, and he was able to bury it home just 18 seconds into the game. And then Marchment gets one later off a beautiful setup, again, by the hardworking forecheck of Seguin and Duchene, creating the turnovers. And that's what I wish we could talk about tonight, or at least the majority of the podcast could be related to just this dogged work from the Stars offensively. But it has to get dampened because they give up 5 third-period goals, and the special teams just went to hell. But Marchment picks up his 7th of the season. I mean, Seguin and Duchene and Marchment all pick up 2 points on the night. And I'm running out of superlatives to say about this line. You're hoping some other lines can follow suit, and to be fair, Rope Hintz and Robertson are looking better. So is Johnston. They're starting to find a groove. To be fair, Bork, Stankoven, and Ben, we know what we're going to get out of them. Like Dallas is playing well, but they're not playing to win. It feels like on some nights, on the road especially. They just slow up, and look, the Duchene line can take some criticism for that too. I mean, they're a part of what happened in the third period, but Dallas just fell asleep in the third. But this Duchene line, I mean, it's incredible what they're doing. And they had this graphic at one of the intermissions on Victory Plus. Duchene, Marchment, and Seguin since November 11th versus Pittsburgh. 11 goals, 18 assists, 29 points, plus 17, plus minus, and their even strength points are at 24. Since November 11th, the last 2 weeks, 11 goals, 18 assists, and 29 points, 24 of those at even strength. I mean, that is carrying a large part of the offensive load for the Stars. And again, they were the best line, and they deserve some criticism for their part on the power play. Like, all of them are part of one of the power play units that needs to get going. And look, at this point, I'm pointing all eyes towards Steve Spott. Like, something has to change on the power play. Something has to change. They've been doing the same thing since last spring, ladies and gentlemen. Since last spring. I mean, I don't know how many times you can live with the same result. They're just living with the same result. And it cost you a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. It cost you a trip. and it's just we're just kind of going along. And it's November, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that small of a sample size. It may be early, but it's gotta be something different. Again, the Stars cannot blame anybody else. They have nobody to blame but themselves. This is where I'm sort of getting to. This is kind of the theme. Nobody to blame because they don't switch anything up on the power play. They don't change anything. And the penalty kill had a bad night. And they did get a fortunate bounce on their second one for a unit that's been very good this season. I don't have large gripes about what they've been on the penalty kill. It was the reason why they lost tonight. Yes. But the power play is a reoccurring thing since March of last year. Something's gotta change. And the Duchene line can't be your best line. I don't know about you. I don't think the Duchene line can be the Stars' best line and win a cup. I just don't see that happening. Because if all you're gonna get is 95 and 91 and 27, like you ain't getting past round one with that. Maybe that's an overexaggeration. Maybe you get past round one. We'll give them that. Maybe you can beat a Minnesota team or something like that. Maybe you can beat a team with just those three. But again, Robo and Rope have to be the guys. The Stars will go as far as Rope and Robo can take them. Duchene maybe's got a round in him. Sagan's maybe got a round in him. But as the games get harder, the games get tighter and closer, offense is hard to come by. You need your big boys to score. Okay? You need your big boys to score. And maybe this is a conversation with April, but I'm bringing up now because I'm tired of it. I really am. So much for having a positive segment. This again, unavoidable. Stars can only blame themselves. Let's wrap this up. It was a missed chance for the Stars to make some ground in the Central. We'll dive into that a bit more in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I do want to shout out Miro a bit because I think he's been so good the last few weeks. I think he's been so damn good, and he's starting to play a lot better hockey, and he deserves to be recognized for it, for as much crap and flack that I've given him in the first few months. He is putting together a stretch here that is more what we have been accustomed to seeing out of Miro in all phases, right? Defensively, he was very strong tonight. Thought he was solid. He's got to be better on the power play too. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I like Miro's being told how to run a power play, or at least he's given a framework of how they want to do it. I don't know how much we can give him a ton of criticism for just running what the power play is, and they're not going away from it. So I don't know how much we can really put the power play on him, even though he needs to be better. But offensively, he's been engaged. I think he's been so solid. He had the highest Corsi percentage tonight. He ended up 12 shots on goal when he was on the ice, which was the most by any other Dallas Star. And he played over 26 minutes tonight. So I thought he played a really, really strong game. I thought he was pretty decent tonight. And he's been playing better. So did want to mention that. But the Stars fall 6-4 to the Hurricanes, and it stings more because the Wild lost tonight. They got beat by Winnipeg. You could have been within 2 points of them, but now you're 4. Colorado lost. You could have pulled away from them a bit more, but you didn't, right? Like, it was a missed chance to gain some ground, even on Winnipeg, right? Or at least keep pace with them. It was just, just a night where you could have made some ground. But it stings. It stings. And it's a missed chance to go into a good team's building, and then you get outshot. In the third period, you really get dominated, Carolina's a high volume shooting team. And they had plenty of looks in the game, which you would expect, but for the most part, they seemed to hold them in check in the first 2 periods. And then just the mistakes and the penalties allowed the power play to get going for them. And it was the compounding mistakes by Dallas that allowed Carolina to get into that rhythm and have a 5-goal third period. That's where I'm getting at. Yeah, the Hurricanes, they were rewarded for their hard work and some efforts, but I feel like Dallas exacerbated that with their own mistakes. And why it took a costly penalty at the end. And by no means is this game just on 53. Okay. It's on a lot of individuals. But it just that hurt. It really did. And yeah, it was a missed chance to sort of gain some ground on Minnesota that's having some injuries, right? You could beat an opponent in the East and start to continue to build some momentum again, right? See, and I said this on Friday with Gavin, it's like 1 step forward and 2 steps back with the Stars. And you go into Tampa Bay on Saturday, just pretty solid win. And you're like, okay, here we go. And then boom, just let down. Stars on what? 3-game win streak heading into the Anaheim game last week. Here we go. Anaheim and San Jose can start to find a groove, and then they let you down, right? Just disappointment. This was a real disappointing one. But again, I'll come back to it. Stars have nothing to blame it on but themselves. And the power play has to be fixed. It doesn't, maybe not fixed, has to be a change in philosophy or strategy. I mean, come on. Been watching the same thing. And yeah, they scored last week, but as a whole, we have a large sample size. It is not that dangerous. It's not dangerous. And good penalty kills have dominated the Stars. Good teams have had no issues with the Stars' power play. Have had no issues. So, yeah. All right. I'm done. It's Thanksgiving. I have a lot of things to be thankful for. I do. Okay. That'll do it for a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars. Let your frustrations out in the comments. I'm sure you already have, and I appreciate that. This is a safe space. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. As always, thank you. Thank you so much for all the love and support. You Locked On Stars listeners are wonderful, and I appreciate you every single day. We're going to do it again on Wednesday, okay? We're going to regroup, and we'll be back at it again on Wednesday against the Blackhawks. Have a great rest of your day, Stars fans, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.